It is great to have you back here at Coin Lady channel. The CEO of crypto startup Valkyrie thinks the XRP ETF will be approved before the Ethereum ETF, according to a headline. Although I'm sure most of you are aware of my general stance on the subject of alternative coinage being allowed for ETS, I really doubt that it occurs on her Kim Jong-ganza. The approval of XRP, ETH, and a plethora of other coins is inevitable, in my opinion. It is for use with spot ETFs. In my opinion, that's practically inevitable. Specifically asking about the year 2024, is there going to be anything comparable in the near future? Though I do not hold such view, I do not rule out the possibility that it is not at all likely. He was under a lot of legal pressure, particularly after what transpired in the Grayscale litigation, so I believe the gains are evidently only permitted by the spot Bitcoin ETF. It seemed to me like that was the turning point. But you'll understand, and the extent to which this will positively affect XRP's long-term viability is another one of those things where the importance can't be overstated. But in the grand scheme of things, what I mean is the projected flow of funds in it is identical, yes. It's all the same. Before we received the green light from the spot, I mentioned Bitcoin ETFs. People aren't thinking big enough in the long run, and I'm concerned that it might be a touch overhyped in the near term. In my opinion, the situation will be similar for XRP, causing an enormous quantity of money to float. This, however, is not the work of a shady CEO. Yes, XRP ETF may occur prior to Ethereum, according to this Valkyrie executive. Let me get into the details for you, but he believes there's a very significant probability of that happening, and I'm talking about this one executive specifically. He works with Valkyrie, though, and that firm did have a spot Bitcoin ETF approved by the SEC. This person is clearly not a fugitive. This is some sensible analysis and viewpoint offered by an expert in the field. Just so we're clear, I don't come from a financial family or anything. Please do not base your investment decisions on anything I say, because I am not a financial advisor. As a pastime and for fun, I'm just an enthusiast that enjoys making films on cryptocurrency on YouTube. Here you may view the ticker symbol for Valkyrie's place on the website. Bitcoin ETF is BRRR, which is something I've always found amusing. I'm sure you all grasp it, right? If you do, then it's a Bitcoin. Yeah. I understand. Consequently, I felt that was a solid choice. That one here was pretty good, in my opinion. Even before this, a couple of years ago, they still had funds under management of over $1 billion. I don't know what their current assets under management are. This is not, as I mentioned before, the work of a shadowy figure or an executive. This is what it looks like. According to Valkyrie's Chief Investment Officer Stephen McClurg, an XRP ETF may materialize before Ethereum's. During an interview with Fox Business reporter Eleanor Turrott, the clergyman expressed this view while sitting by a fireside. Tarek brought up the viewpoint in a recent guest post at the Digital Wildcatters Empower conference. In light of this information, McClurg maintains that the US regulator may approve an XRP ETF before approving Ethereum's. According to the Fox News reporter, McClurg came to this decision after hearing new information on the regulatory status of ETHs in the US. He appears on the screen in that capacity. Right this way. Yes, you may find him on this website. Senior Financial Advisor. Despite the admission, the piece remains. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You may remember that just 1 week ago, Crypto Basics reported that the US SEC was skulking around collecting financial records and other data in order to possibly label Ethereum as a security, mirroring their 2020 classification of XRP. Given the well-documented connection between the Ethereum founders and the SEC leadership, the news has come as a shock to the crypto community and has caused widespread uncertainty. However, so far, the SEC has not made any public statement confirming that ETH is a security. At the same time, McClurg, an executive at Valkyries, thinks that the lawsuit could come to fruition, and that this development would affect the current application for the Ethereum-based spot ETFs. This is because, as Tarek revealed, the clerk has not seen approval for the spot ETH ETF by the most recent deadline. Yeah, I see your point. I think I made my position quite plain at the beginning of this video, and countless others like it. In this place, I just do not perceive it occurring. Regarding your familiarity with the theory and its proponents, especially the Theory Foundation, will they face legal action from the SEC? Now what? Very well, I think we should just wait and see what happens. Even though I really hope it doesn't happen, I won't be the least bit surprised if it does. But is it likely to happen? It is not going to shock me. I would be completely surprised if the current leadership of the SEC is different from that of the days when Billy Boy was in control and proposed the idea of free speech. These folks aren't exactly welcoming of evidence showing the prior government was correct. Also, remember when the SEC begins to intervene in these investigations to such a degree. When it gets to this point, it usually ends with a lawsuit, at least in the crypto realm. Most of the time, they sue. Could something be happening in the background to sway their decision? Of course. If there is, in fact, litigation arising from this, I will not be surprised in the slightest. Things keep rolling on with One Piece. However, he did say that Litecoin and XRP spot ETFs would be seen by the crypto community. Ethereum came first. This opinion is reinforced by the fact that XRP has established a distinct stance with regulators. I believe he's presenting a quite reasonable case here, and I think it's important that you remember the United States. Its treatment will be significantly affected by the fact that XRP has regulatory certainty. Sure thing. When it comes to large-scale organizations, absolutely a lot of sense is made by it. You may have also heard that this is from Crypto Basic. According to BlackRock's CEO, an exchange-traded fund, ETF, can nonetheless go live despite Ether's status as a security. Reading this makes me laugh, especially considering I've been involved with the XRP community and know the details of the Ripple litigation better than any other lawsuit I've ever filed. I feel like I have a stake in the outcome. Which is why I've been really materialistic. Even though I've addressed the topic extensively on my channel for years, I still know that, excepting the most extreme cases, the asset is never a security. People still seem to be unaware that our entire community knows that ETH is not an asset when they talk about it as a security. It's quite comical, really. However, this is how they continue to speak. Not that it concerns the grand design and the specifics of how particular deals take place or are marketed. The article is structured as follows. BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink is certain that the company can still launch the Ethereum ETF, regardless of whether the SEC declares ETH a security. It was reported earlier this month that the US Securities and Exchange Commission was actively trying to classify a Mongolian native asset ETH as a security. The crypto industry is still guessing about what this classification could mean for the pending proposals for an Ethereum ETF based on spot prices. However, BlackRock's CEO remains certain that the launch of an Ethereum-based ETF would go unabated, despite the fact that ETH is now classified as a security. Following their phenomenal success with Bitcoin ETFs, over 6 investment managers are considering launching a similar product for Ethereum. BlackRock is among them. During a recent appearance with Fox Business, Larry Fink discussed his opinion on the SEC's rumored intentions. Even if I'm not sure how to address the issue more broadly, a security certification for ETH will not significantly hurt the chances of an Ethereum-based ETF, according to Fink, who spoke with Fox journalist Charles Gasparino. Even with the ETF labeled as a security, BlackRock may still launch the ETF when the time comes. My guess is that's correct, Larry Fink said. Yeah. I understand. That concludes it. It seems like they're still trying to go ahead with it. The SEC must, of course, give their blessing. So that's the deal. Lots of problems to solve. However, in the absence of a precise time estimate, if time were not an issue, would it happen if you simply asked me? It will happen, in my opinion. Exact same thing with XRP. Plus, it will have profound significance. The source of the boundary executives is clear to me, though. Sure thing. That would be fantastic to have that as an additional field. He advised her to simply hold a larger XRP investment, because he is not a financial counselor, but I would still love to see XRP approved before we do. You shouldn't base your purchases or sales on my advice. Well, that concludes our video. As always, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a comment with your opinions. Muchas gracias, depart.